So, regarding the concept of ex deo, the idea that the universe emerged from God and is inherently united with his own being, while we both align against panentheism, could you explore any interpretations within the biblical narrative, specifically the Old Testament or Tanakh, that refute this perspective? Furthermore, could you delineate the reasons why both panentheism and pantheism stand in contradiction to our faiths, prefacing your explanation with a clarification of these terms for our audience?
Okay, so let's begin with a clarification of terms for the sake of the audience. Pantheism means that the entire universe, all physical reality, is itself God. It identifies the physical universe with God. Pantheism is characteristic of many Eastern religions, which deny that there is a transcendent creator of the universe who exists beyond space and time, who is himself immaterial, and who brings all physical reality into being. Panentheism, by contrast, is the view that physical reality exists in God. It doesn't exhaust God's being. It's not identical to God, as in pantheism, but it says that everything is in God. The physical universe somehow, in some mysterious ways, emanates out of the very beginning of God, out of the very being of God. So even if God is more than the universe, he is nothing less than the universe. The universe emanates or proceeds out of the very being of God. Now, these worldviews or perspectives, I think, are both antithetical to theism, which is taught in the Judeo-Christian tradition. We saw that the Bible begins with the words, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." For God to create the material universe out of himself, he would himself have to be material. But that contradicts the fundamental teaching of the Hebrew Bible that God is spirit rather than material reality. The word that is used for God over and over again in the Hebrew Bible is ruach, spirit. And this characterizes the being of God in contrast to, say, flesh or bashar. That word bashar is never used of God in the Hebrew Bible, whereas ruach is used some 136 times of God in the Hebrew Bible and indicates the antithesis between spirit and materialism. And the most theologically significant use of ruach, or spirit, is for spiritual beings or spiritual agents, that is to say, agents without bodies. And I'm thinking here of the use of ruach to describe first human spirits. When human spirits are described apart from the body, when the body has died and is laid in the earth, human spirits continue to exist and are referred to as being ruach, spirits. In addition to that, ruach is used of non-human, finite spiritual beings such as angels or demons, which are also personal agents without bodies. And then finally, as I indicated, the preeminent use of ruach in the Hebrew Bible is of God himself. God is a spiritual being. He is an immaterial reality who transcends the physical world and has created the physical world. So I think that panentheism, not to say pantheism, is completely incompatible with the conception of God in the Hebrew Bible.
Fascinating. And I actually wanted to point out there's a famous verse that says, "Holy, holy, holy, God is, his honor fills the world." I'm paraphrasing it. But basically the real translation of kadosh, which is holy, is actually sanctified or separate. Like God is
Yeah.
separate. It's a separate. Hashem tivakot melo kol haaretz kevodo. His honor fills the world, meaning to say that it's not him who fills the world. It's his. We can see evidence for his, his glory or his honor or his intelligence. We see evidence for that in the world, but it's not him. That's a very important verse. I feel like people should really analyze.